Okay, and here's the audience, and I'm a sixth person.
Okay. Over the past several years, there's been an ongoing debate on whether or not physical education should be mandatory in schools. I am here to tell you that it should. Physical education helps kids stay active while enhancing their academics, involving them in hobbies or sports, and ultimately prevents child obesity. Being an athlete all my life, I know I'm probably biased, but it's very hard for me to come up with any cons at all for this argument. Researchers have found that a positive correlation between physical activity and students' attention and academic achievement. Physical activity also allows students to relieve stress and aggression, which allows them to focus more in the classroom. When kids are forced to stay in the classroom in the same seat, they get antsy and they can be disruptive in class. Physical education gives them a way to release bottled up energy that they've been storing. My mom is actually a kindergarten teacher, and she always talks about how important it is to have her kids get that hour of recess to relieve their energy. Even when they would have rainy days and they wouldn't get their recess, she even noticed so much of a difference. They would not be going crazy in the classroom, yelling, not listening, and being very disruptive. Not only will they be less disruptive, but they will be more likely and willing to learn. If you were to look outside during a school recess, you would see kids running, jumping, and climbing all over everything. So why is physical education mandatory as well? Children have adapted to our on-the-go environment and have seemed to morph into the technology-savvy world we are today. It is almost a rarity to see kids playing outside anymore. The norm has become playing video games, watching TV, texting on their phones, and all of the above. It is crazy to think of how much of a change that has gone on in the past 3 years. You used to see kids walking on sidewalks, biking on sidewalks, to and from school, but now that's not the case. I have this visual aid up here, and in 2009 there was a graph, and they did a research, and there was 44% of kids that took their cars to class or went with their parents. 40% took the school bus, and only 1% biked to class, and only 12% walked to class. So there's just a great example of even 20 minutes of exercise that kids are missing out on every day. As teachers, parents, and a general society, it is our job to give the kids the opportunity to engage in physical activity and help them learn through movement. Physical education not only provides kids with a stress reliever, it also instills certain qualities that can't be taught in the classroom. By playing team sports, kids are exposed to opportunities that build leadership, confidence, and teamwork skills. Looking into the future, these skills will also help students in whatever career they may choose. Building these skills and relationships with other students creates a confidence that will spread throughout the classroom as well. Once these kids are exposed to different sports and PE, there is a good chance they will develop an interest in them. This interest leads to participation outside of gym class and gets kids to try out for sports teams within their school. Since they are now spending most of their after-school time with teams practicing and playing games, there is less time for them to get into trouble, lay on the couch, or engage in any criminal activity. The other reason why physical education should be mandatory is because it can prevent certain illnesses. As we all know, nowadays children spend more and more time in front of the TV, playing video games with a laptop right beside them. All schools are asking for is about an hour of their time during the school day to stay active. By exercising an hour a day, kids can prevent serious illnesses such as type 2 diabetes. After development, type 2 diabetes can lead to problems of the heart and kidney. Aside from diabetes, inactive teenagers can develop coronary heart disease, breast cancer, and colon cancer. Now I know these sound very dramatic and extreme, but they're a fact. If kids aren't exercising, they aren't gaining bone mass. This could lead to broken bones and other serious injuries, whether it be playing sports or just horsing around with their siblings. So after hearing all of these health concerns, why would we want to risk our kids' health if we could just send them to gym once a day? The final and most important reason why physical education should be mandatory in schools is that this activity prevents child obesity. As we all know, child obesity has become a huge problem and concern in our country over the last several years. Over 30% in the United States are obese, and in the last 30 years, the number of overweight children has increased by 15%, leaving 1/3 of the child population overweight. Doctors believe that there are two main reasons why this has happened. One is because they are not eating the right types of food, which can almost fully be blamed on the parents while they're not at school. The second reason is that the kids are not getting enough exercise during the school day. During the day, kids are at school, so I believe it is the school's full responsibility to provide the kids with a 30-minute to an hour amount amount of exercise that they need. Beyond school hours, it is the parent's responsibility to engage in activities or enroll them in activities that will keep them healthy. Excessive and unhealthy eating, along with lack of exercise, is responsible for at least 300,000 deaths each year. Research has proven that not only do overweight children have health concerns, but they miss 4 times as much school as normal students. Obesity can lead to psychological behavior problems such as depression, eating disorders, and other behavioral problems. Most of these disorders are most common in young girls because of the bullying and the self-pressure that they put on themselves. Obesity isn't a phase, it's not something that children will grow out of. Samkin estimated that 25% of obese 6-year-olds and 75% of obese 12-year-olds will grow to be obese adults. So as you can see, staying active enhances kids' academic ability, creates an interest in hobbies, and ultimately prevents child obesity. Seeing that these bad habits lead to lifelong problems, it is very important that we make physical education a mandatory part of the school system and set kids on the right track to healthy lives. And then this is a graph of the overweight children and adolescents, and it has the percentages of the obese children on the left side, and it starts in 1963 to 1970. The blue bars are 6 to 11-year-old children, and the yellow bars are 12 to 19-year-old children, so you have a range of the elementary kids to high school kids. So as you can see, in 1963, the percentages were pretty low, 4% for 6-year-olds and 6% for 12 to 19-year-olds. And then as we move up, it keeps increasing. And in 2000, it reached 15% for both 6 to 11-year-olds and 12 to 19-year-olds. So it really shows how much physical education is important because it keeps the kids active, and it really does play a role in